to this Kiwasco stakeholder meeting. It's going to be our almost 13th forum. We've taken a break since we last engaged as a company together with our stakeholders, and it's been almost 2 years. So we are happy to have you back. Please feel free and just welcome and feel most welcomed. So at this moment, I want to bring the choir. Kiwasco has a choir to give us some entertainment, just to start us off. So I'm requesting the choir kindly move in. You're going to start by giving us the national anthem, which is going also to act as our prayer to start us off in this meeting. Kiwasco Choir, karibuni sana. Just make your way to the space available. Karibuni wanakwaya. They are very smart in Kiwasco colors. You are going to give us the national anthem, which is going to act as our prayer, and also the East African national anthem. Let us be up and standing as we go through the national anthem. East African anthem. Just a moment. Just a moment. You'll come back with that song shortly. You'll come. Okay.
Mungu Baba, tunakuomba tuwezeshe kutekeleza wajibu wetu wa kusambaza maji safi kwa watu wote. Kwa pamoja twajitahidi kufikia wateja wetu. Siku zote twazingatia mahitaji yao wateja. Nia yetu kuburudisha maisha ya wateja wetu na pia kuwapatia maji safi jukumu letu Kiwasco kuunganisha na kusambaza maji safi yenye ubora kwa wateja wetu wapendwa. Maadili ya msingi, nguzo zetu ni umoja, ubunifu na uvumbuzi, uadilifu na uweledi. Nia yetu ya kuburudisha maisha ya wateja wetu na pia kuwapatia maji safi wakati wote. Maji taka twayakusanya na halafu tunayatibu. Mazingira yetu twahifadhi kwa ajili ya watu wote. Sisi sote twajivunia kwa sababu twawajibika. Kazi yetu hapa Kiwasco wateja wafurahia, na huduma tumeboresha. Changamoto sasa ni haba, wakaazi wote Kisumu tunawapa huduma bora. Nia yetu ya kuburudisha maisha ya wateja wetu na pia kuwapatia maji safi wakati wote. Maji taka twayakusanya na halafu tunayatibu. Mazingira yetu twahifadhi kwa ajili ya watu wote.
Thank you so much, choir. Thank you so much. You are going to come in again for another short entertainment. But for now, I want us to get to know who is in the room. It's that time we want to do introductions. So I want to request my sister Emily. I think we can start from the back, coming towards the front, so that we get to know who we have in the house. If you are ready with the mic, I think we can start with the person, try to step a distance away from the speakers.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, George. Feel very welcome.
Good afternoon.
Karibu sana Winnie. Karibu Duncan. Thank you. I believe you're representing the kiosk as well. Welcome, Martin. Good afternoon. Thank you. Karibu sana.
Good afternoon. My name is Opio Geoffrey from Kiwasco.
Good afternoon. Daniel Opio, Kiwasco and Consumer.
Good afternoon. George Wasonga is my name. I'm from Kiwasco.
Good afternoon. Maureen Ondeng, Rural Water Supply under Kiwasco.
Good afternoon. This is Prudence from Kiwasco.
I'm Bernard Ondego from Kiwasco.
I'm Jack Sirengo from Kiwasco.
I'm Kennedy Kitinda, Kiwasco. I'm Brian Oroa from Kiwasco.
Good afternoon. I'm Eric Okoth from Kiwasco.
Good afternoon. Duncan Otieno, Consumer.
Good afternoon. I'm Esther Choki from Equator Bottlers representing Coca-Cola.
My name is Eric Ocheng from Kenya Association of Manufacturers.
Good afternoon. Odoch Felicia representing Jaramogi Oginga Rural Hospital.
Good afternoon all. I'm Frederick Odhiambo Chieng, the State Manager, Kisumu National Polytechnic.
Simon Ukorekesa from United Millers.
Ahmed Musa Faraj, Sound Business Community Chair.
Ogweno Kauta, Kiwasco.
Jason Ochola, Kisumu Water.
My name is William Boyer, representing Africa Water Watch Limited, and I'm also a consumer in Kisumu.
Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Otieno from Water Resources Authority.
Vitalis Ajumbo, Gulf Water Consumer.
Caroline Odero, Consumer.
Kenneth Awiti, Lake Victoria South Water Works Development Agency.
Good afternoon. Omondi Okuku, Lake Victoria South Water Works Development Agency.
I'm Engineer Moses Jura from Kiwasco.
Charles Juma from Gao.
Lena Jobita, Ngao.
Israel Agina, Chamber of Commerce.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Paul Owino Ramoli, Chairman of the Estate.
Hamjambo. My name is Jack Wasonga, representing Kenya Airports Authority. Asante.
Thank you so much, Jack. You've always been with us. Karibu sana. Let's go to this other end.
Good afternoon. Okechorero, Chairman of Arena Estate Tenants Housing Development Group and a consumer.
Good afternoon. Elder Dongo, Head of Corporate Affairs and Communication, Kiwasco.
Good afternoon. Shem Utieno, Kiwasco.
I'm Solomon Awino from Equity Secretaries and Registrars, the company secretary.
Thank you so much. Emily, you've not introduced yourself.
Oh, my name is Emily Kiwasco.
And as you take the mic to the two gentlemen who just walked up front, I'm also a servant of Kiwasco. My name is Simon Ondigo. I represent the audit department. So let's just get the names of our new entrants, then we'll come up front.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Just do it without the mic. Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Tom. Thank you so much. We still expecting many more of our stakeholders from the county assembly. Emily, just share the two ladies before we come up front. I want us to exhaust from your end. We are doing introductions, so karibuni. We want to know you so that we walk this together. Thank you so much. Up front, I want to give, okay, they'll be introduced at the appropriate time. So is the choir still ready there, Emily? They can come in for another interlude of music. The saxophonist, introduce yourself first before you proceed with the good music. Loro. Okay, you can give us an interlude of music, one item, then we'll go to the next session. So at this stage, I want to welcome the chairman, Kisumu Water and Sanitation Company, Mr. Vinod Patel, to give his remarks. Karibu, Chairman.
I can see the stakeholders are well represented. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All protocols observed. I'm very delighted to see all of you today and highly honored that you have accepted our invitation to attend this special occasion. Allow me to officially welcome you to 2022 Kiwasco Stakeholders Meeting. Before I proceed, let me introduce you my team, the fellow members of the board. I'll start from my left, Director Albert Ojoyo, representing the business community. Then on my second left is Director Phyllis Chepkamboy, representing the professionals. On the far end, on my right, we have Director Dorcas Inda, representing the hospitality industry. Then we have Dr. Benson Nyambenga, he represents higher education. We also have on the board we have the CEC Finance, who will be joining us later. City Manager, Director Abalawanga, and the CEC, the new CEC for Water, Marilyn Agua. Stakeholder forums should always be held annually, but since the pandemic, this is the first such meeting, and we are hopeful that things will continue being stable and we will be seeing you every year henceforth. Despite the disruptions, I'm happy to report that Kiwasco continued to discharge its mandate effectively, thanks to the staff who overcame the challenges and ensured continued service to all, even as they took necessary precautions. Kiwasco is still committed, together with the county government of Kisumu, to deliver on the SDG 6, that is to ensuring access to clean water and sanitation for all. Since water service provision is devolved, this has only been possible, and we thank the cordial working relationship we have enjoyed with the county government of Kisumu. Stakeholders Forum gives us an opportunity to discuss and find more ways of serving the people of Kisumu, both in urban and rural areas. We are working closely with the county government of Kisumu to find a lasting solution on the best model for water service provision in the peri-urban and rural areas of the county. Ladies and gentlemen, water coverage stands at 90% and sewer coverage at paltry 16%. To bridge this gap, we changed our scope to include non-sewered sanitations in 2019, and our focus is now to increase the sanitation services or coverage from 55% to 65% by the end of June 2023. Kiwasco has for the last few years entered into strategic partnerships with private sector players to improve sanitation coverage and preserve the dignity of the people of Kisumu. Ladies and gentlemen, another major project, LV Watson, is in the offing and will include construction of 33 kilometers of sewer lines and overhaul of the 5-kilometer water line in CBD in the initial stages. The sewer line construction will cover Manyata, Migosi, and Lolwe estates, and this will include the main trunk, last mile connections. Other areas in the water component includes Nyamasaria, part of Dunga, Guba, and Alango areas, which are either unserved or underserved. To improve efficiency, we are not left behind in embracing technology and digitization. The company has made significant steps in automating its operations, and this includes adoption of the new ERP, that's the Enterprise Resource Planning, modern call centers, accredited calibration laboratory, automated tank level monitoring and dosing system, in addition to a fully fledged GIS unit. Ladies and gentlemen, for the last 3 years, the company has suffered from the effects of climate change. 2 years ago, we had increasing water levels phenomena on Lake Victoria, drying up of river Kiwasco, and the recent blue-green algae and upswelling of the lake, resulting in pungent smell. In Kisumu, we have always boasted of being water secure, but with the emerging changes, we must wake up and take drastic actions to reverse the negative effect of climate change. I mean, we are all aware that the meeting that was held in Egypt recently, where our president attended, the topic main agenda was climate change. I think today he has gone to USA. Again, the agenda is, I think, let's not just talk about climate change. It is something that we all have to take responsibility at our level to start planting trees and protecting our environment. As my company, we have already pledged 100,000 trees to be planted in the next 3 years. So I think everybody should take, whether there's organizations at individual level, if you plant even 10 trees per person in your house, at least if you are 5 in the family, you have planted 50 trees, and it will contribute to reversing this climate change that we are facing. Let's stop polluting even the small rivers passing through the estates. We need to teach our children the importance of such actions. These holidays, I challenge you to take a step that you will be proud of. I thank the government of Kisumu, county government of Kisumu, for streamlining the development of unplanned structures built on top of sewer lines. This has been one of our major setbacks, but it is a relief that the city management stepped in and brought down such structures, especially in Lower Migosi and Gudka estates. As I come to the end, I want to urge the honorable members of the county assembly present to assist the company in 2 major areas, even as we continue serving our people. First is to ensure that pipeline extensions are well coordinated with the company, so that each and every pipe laid adds value to the constituents, as without proper coordination we may have duplicated projects that may not help achieve its intended purpose. Secondly, when proposing funding for road construction, kindly allocate funds towards relocation of water infrastructure to enable the lines that are ripped off to be relocated and repair real time, hence reduce the number of water and also the time taken to restore supply to the residents. As I conclude, I want to assure all the stakeholders that the board and the management of Kiwasco remains committed to service delivery and enhancing relationships with its key partners. Further, the board shall endeavor to develop its people and pursue innovative and cost-effective methods of improving service delivery to the customers. I hereby invite you to actively engage with us today and let this forum yield meaningful results that will propel all of us to a better future. Thank you so much. Asante sana.
Thank you so much, Chairman. Another round of applause to our Chairman. We shall have ample time during the plenary to respond to all the emerging issues that and speeches that our presenters are going to give. So at this moment, allow me welcome the Kiwasco choir once again for another interlude of music. I hope they are nearby, and as they are coming, there are those of us who've joined. In Kenya, we say we are never late, but we are held back so that we get to know who they are. So let me give this opportunity from my left. As the choir is coming in, just let's have a quick introduction for those who are not introduced. Thank you, Faith. Good afternoon. And we have our company secretary, Solomon. Just wave to the meeting. You'll have your ample time to be able to share with the meeting. Thank you, karibu sana. So choir, you can go, proceed when you are ready. Thank you, choir. Thank you, choir. We appreciate you for the beautiful melodies. At this juncture, I want to request our board of directors to take the seats on this other end so that we get to hear from our own managing director where Kiwasco has been over these last 2 years. We want to see where Kiwasco has come from, where we are, and where we are going to. And this is a presentation that is going to be given by our managing director, Thomas Odongo. I'm told there are some MCAs who've walked in and have not yet introduced. I kindly request if you can just stand up and introduce yourself. You are the reason why we are here today. Kindly just stand up and let us know you. Thank you so much. Karibuni. We can start from the front. Emily.
My name is Peter Oiko, MCA Kabonyo Kanyagwal Ward.
Sorry, I'm not an MCA, but our dear sister, please repeat my name again. Owino Morris, Director, Water and Sewerage Services, currently now representing the CEC, Water and Environment.
Thank you, Maurice. You've had the only privilege of introducing yourself 2 times.
John Moses Ogola, Kisumu County Government.
Karibu Moses.
I'm Honorable Millicent Omuya, North Seme Ward MCA.
I'm George Abajatoto, West Seme Ward MCA.
Good afternoon. I'm Pamela Uoroyo, member representing Migosi Ward.
Good afternoon. My name is Honorable James Ochieng Omolo. I represent West Nyakach, MCA.
Good afternoon.
I doubt whether you will use the mic. Just do it without the mic from that point. Good afternoon. Karibu sana, Emily.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Jennifer Obonyo, MCA Southwest Kisumu Ward.
Good afternoon. I'm Honorable Karen Odhiambo, member of County Assembly of Kisumu, representing Shaurimoyo Kaloleni Ward.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm Frederick Ochieng Odari Adonija, Chemelil Tamu Ward.
Thank you, Frederick. We welcome you once again all. I think now we are full house and the entire Kisumu is represented in this forum. So, Bwana MD, this is your time.
Thank you very much, Simon, the MC for the day. Stakeholders, I'm excited to have all of you here today. I know there are some stakeholders who are delayed and are still coming. So to avoid a lot of movement, the staff, when you see the seats are full, itabidi uachie wageni. Jadala weloko naomba. Now, in front of you have a folder. In that folder there are 2 key booklets that probably I want to familiarize you with. One of them is the customer service charter. That is our promise to you when it comes to customer issues. As a stakeholder, it's important that you know what we promise whenever we have an issue to deal with or whenever we have a compliment to do appreciate. The other booklet is our quarterly newsletter. It's our quarterly newsletter. So if you look through that, it's how we prepare ourselves to serve you better. But those ones you'll carry home, so don't read it now. Now I want you to listen to me. A bit of background about Kiwasco. Of course, we are registered under the Kenyan laws. We began operations within the city in the year 2003. We are actually licensed to operate within the Kisumu city. That's our area of jurisdiction. In the year 2014, after devolution, actually the first cycle of devolution, the county government requested us to support the peri-urban and rural utilities, namely Nyanas and Gulf Water Services. So we entered into a management contract to support those utilities so that they can reach a level of sustainability, and once they reach that level, then we can either merge and one have utility for the whole county, or form a rural utility that can manage, one rural utility that can manage the affairs of the peri-urban and urban areas. Of course, we are still walking that journey. We expected that journey at a time, but unfortunately, we are not yet there. We are close, but not yet there. But in the fullness of time, we are going to inform the stakeholders on the way forward. There are two options: either we merge and have one utility, or form a rural utility. Of course, in the management contract, there were certain obligations that each party was to hold. There were certain things that Kiwasco was to do, which we continue to do today. There are certain things that the county government was to do, which we are going to discuss later. The other milestone in our journey in water and sewerage service provision was that in 2019, because of our service levels, and if you heard the speech from the chairman, our water coverage is 90%, our sewer coverage is below 20%. So we could not continue just focusing on the seaward sanitation bit. So in 2019, we changed focus, and now we handle both seaward and non-seaward. That means we are now a player in the whole sanitation value chain. And our role is not actually to do it. Our role is to be a catalyst to bring in the private sector players, the civil society, the NGOs, and of course, government together. And we've done that with a lot of success. So those are some of the milestones that we've had in our journey as Kiwasco since the year 2003. This is our strategic foundation. We want to be the best when it comes to service provision. So not only the best, we are not benchmarking with water companies only, but the best in service. That's our vision. And of course, you know why we exist: to provide quality potable water and sanitation services. If you look at our corporate values, I can summarize them into three. Number one, and central to us, is customer focus. We are a customer-centric organization. So whatever we do, we think about the customer first. even when we disconnect you, we are thinking of you. We are thinking of you first. The other thing that is key for us, of course, is innovation, right? The other thing that is key for us is innovation. And if you've walked with us this journey, you realize that each and every time we try and come up with new ideas, which if they work, we celebrate. If they don't work, then we've learned from it. And then when you talk about integrity, professionalism, teamwork, that's agility, right? We are just using many words, but it's one word. We are an agile company, customer-centric, and innovative. That is our strategic foundation. And that is what drives our strategic plan, which is coming to an end in June next year. So sometime next year, we're going to consult you so that because we'll be preparing our next 5-year strategic plan, which should take effect from July 2023. And why do we consult you? Because you have the ideas, and we're going to implement. That's our value proposition. We promise reliability, reliable water supply, accessibility. You don't need to pay a lot to access water. You don't need to travel long distance to also access good quality water. And of course, the other value proposition is quality. From the chairman's speech again, you've heard about the challenges of climate change, which is real. And all of us as stakeholders, we have a role to play. And it is a big role. The chairman has just promised planting, how many trees there? 100,000 trees. So what, na wewe je utaplant ngapi? Hata mimi uniulize nitaplant ngapi? I'll tell you the figure. Our strategic pillars, I think I've summarized this. We are looking at water and sanitation infrastructure. So when talk of sanitation, you've seen the kind of work we are doing with partners in the low-income areas in terms of sanitation infrastructure. We are coming up with innovative solutions which are impactful and improves the dignity of our people. Operational efficiency, this is key for us. You want to do more with less. You want to do more with less. And over the years, you've seen the kind of investments we've made in digitization and technology just to on efficiency. I don't want to overemphasize our customer centricity. Propua initiatives, we have a fully fledged Propua unit, and for a long time we've been proud of the model we use to supply water and now sanitation services in the low-income areas, the delegated management model, which has served us well over the years. And Kisumu is one of the cities where water coverage in the low-income areas is more than 90%. It's because of that model. But models are good as long as they last. It's just like human beings, right? There are stages in life. So when you reach a certain stage, then you might want to tweak your strategy. And we are looking at the DMA model, evaluating it, seeing whether is it something that is going to propel us to the next level, or it has served us good. We see how to tweak it or to come up with another model altogether. Financial sustainability, that is key. I'm going to give you our progress over the years. Institutional strengthening and corporate governance. If you follow the water sector, over the years we've been performing very well when it comes to corporate governance. Is because of our strategic foundation and the good working relationship we have with with the county government of Kisumu, which fully owns the company. But that structure will be dealt with in subsequent presentations. You all aware we have 2 treatment plants. Dunga is the biggest, the oldest, and the biggest. In Dunga, actually, we have 3 plants that have been constructed over the years. And then we have Kajulu. Dunga capacity 44,000, Kajulu 36,000 cubic meters per day. But we are not fully utilizing this capacity. Initially, this capacity was to take us up to the year 2030, right? But because of climate change, we are unable to utilize these plants fully. River Kibos, during the dry, it dries up and we don't produce, right? And of course, the challenges of the lake we have talked about. In terms of sewerage, again, we have 2 treatment plants. One is at Nyalenda, the oxidation ponds with a capacity of 11,000 cubic meters. And the other one is Kisat, which is combines both biological and mechanical treatment. Again, the wastewater plants, we are not fully utilizing that capacity because, one, the connectivity is low because of certain barriers which we are handling. That's why we say our sewer coverage is below 20%. So that's in terms of our infrastructure and our capacity. The governance structure, I don't want to go into this, but we have a strong board of directors that gives direction. Then the board executes its mandate through 4 committees: Finance, Commercial, and ICT is one committee. Then we have the Technical Committee, we have Audit and Risk, and we have Human Resource, Legal, and Corporate Affairs Committee. Propua initiatives, I've talked about the delegated management model. Those who are unable to connect directly, we have kiosks at strategic places. In terms of technology, we have prepaid meters in some locations within the low income areas. In terms of sanitation, we have vacuum trucks or the exhausters, right? The ones that are written, your yesterday's meal on wheels, right? If you've seen them. Then we also work very closely with the private sector, and we have partnered with the manual pit emptiers, trained them, and of course linked them with financiers and other partners so that they are able to provide those services in a dignified and hygienic manner. The picture you are seeing there, that's a truck through Kiwasco was given to one of the manual pit emptiers, not only to assist in manual pit emptying, but also solid waste management. And on the side, you see we are trying to improve the collection facilities, the waste collection facilities, so that that waste is also collected in a dignified manner. Customer service, these are some of the things that we have in place. We have various modes of communication between us and the customers. So you don't really need to come to our office because the models, the channels of communication, are there. I also want to remind you that this forum is now streaming live on YouTube, and Facebook. So if you receive a text, nimekuona mahali, useme ukweli mahali uko. Okay? CSR, our CSR policy focuses on 3 key areas. One is environment for obvious reasons. And how many of you have taken pictures at Kiwasco roundabout? Okay, how many of you have seen Kiwasco roundabout? Skylark? Thank you. Thank you. And of course, we do plant a lot of trees. We've partnered with Equity Bank. We've partnered with so many partners in terms of planting trees. We have a program with a number of schools where we supply seeds, and the pupils plant those seeds and come up with tree nurseries. Sorry, I said we plant a lot of trees. We do not plant, we grow a lot of trees. Whatever trees we plant, we follow through to ensure that they mature, right? And once they mature, now they can continue on their own. Of course, philanthropy, what you're seeing there as ethics. Occasionally we have challenges when we have a major burst or supply interruption for that matter. We normally try to mitigate that by bringing in water bowsers where people can draw water for free so that they don't go for long without water. Education, also another pillar. And currently we are papers in education. We are partnering with Nation Media. And we started with 5 schools in Kajulu, and I know next year then we will be expanding that to more schools covering many other areas. We are also having environment clubs, working with environment clubs in both primary and secondary schools. Now the figures, this is very important. In 2018, our sales revenue, our billing was 691 million annual. That's for the whole year. So that grew to 812. In 2020, it went down, right? We have a very good excuse for that, but it's a reason. There was the pandemic. So from then now, you can see that the business is really picking up. And actually by the end of this financial year, we want to hit 1 billion. We should be 1 billion company in terms of revenue. And because of you stakeholders, we can do it. And how can we do it? Communication. If you see a leakage, report. If you see a burst, report. If you see a staff who is not customer-centric, tuongeleshe. Sindio? Yeah? Ukipata bill, lipa for tarehe 10. And we're going to hit the 1 billion. Sindio mheshimiwa? Yes. Together we can do it. In terms of profitability, the gross profit, which I don't want to focus on. I want us to focus on the net profit. Not profit. In water, we don't talk of profit. It's a surplus. Yeah. The net surplus in 2018, 8 million. We are projecting. Okay, last year we did a surplus of 77 million. We are projecting to do 88 million in terms of surplus by the end of this financial year. Is that not good progress? Yeah? Super. Thank you. But makofi ingesaidia kidogo. Yeah. In terms of technical performance, 2016, in terms of water coverage, we were at 71%. 2021, 83%. Currently, as we are speaking, we've already hit 90% in terms of water coverage. We don't only have good stories, we also have bad stories. Like the sewer coverage, we've been on 18%. It has gone down to 16%. Challenge, well accepted, and I believe the team we have is going to change this, that narrative. Water quality, again, not a good story. We are currently averaging 95%, even to date, but we used to do over 98%. The challenge we have discussed it. It's climate change, the heavy pollution of our water bodies means that, one, we must be innovative and change our treatment regime so that we are able to manage that water. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I don't know whether it was last week, but a week or two before, we were with a team from World Bank, and I took them around, and they said that this kind of phenomena, they saw it in Brazil about 2 years ago, and they're going to share with us what the Brazilians did to manage that. So water quality, work for us to do. Our non-revenue water, again, a good story here. From 46 to 26 in 2021. Currently, we are at about 31%. We are doing something about it. We want to be consistently below 20, and within a short time, if possible, not below 20, below 30. But we want to move as close as possible to 20%. The national average for non-revenue water is still very high, still over 40%, I think about 44%. So we don't want to say that we are below the national average. We still have a lot of work to do. So non-revenue water is water that we have produced and goes to waste. Produced in the sense that it is treated, right? Gone through the pipes, and we don't get any revenue from it. So out of the water that we produce, we are losing 31%. Not a good story. It is a challenge. We know where the problem is. We are working with partners. And the Victoria South will be giving a presentation. They'll also touch on some of the solutions that we are working on. Collection efficiency, on average about 92%. We are aiming to be at 100%. Challenges with some of you stakeholders who don't pay. If you pay late. So that affects our collection efficiency. And of course, it also does have a negative impact on our operations, especially maintenance activities. Complaint resolution, that we are doing well, consistently over 97%, except this year that we all want to forget, 2020, right? So as I said, we are a customer-centric organization. So this is something that is close to our heart. And again, when it comes to customer service, in Kenya, we are ranked, if not the best, but among the best. If you look at the the regulator's impact report. This is just a colorful way of presenting those figures. Partnerships, we have so many. Some of them probably not even mentioned here, but these are some of the organizations. This list is not exhaustive. We are working with partners in our various areas of operation because we can't do it alone. You know that grants are no longer there. There's no money anymore. So we must look for partners where we agree, you do this and you get this in return. So some of these partnerships have had a very big role in terms of taking us to where we are today, though there's still work to be done. I want to mention, you can see here the Ministry of Interior. What we realize that we've done some good work in the low-income areas. These days, you don't hear of cholera outbreak in Kisumu. Recently, there was cholera outbreak in 5 counties, more than 5 counties, and people were trying to look for Kisumu. It was nowhere. But we have institutions with large populations within the county that probably needs to benefit from our expertise. And that is why you are seeing the Ministry of Interior there. Kodiaga Prison, a hotbed when it comes to cholera outbreak, and you know it. And the same as Kibos Prison. Because these facilities, of course, they were constructed long time ago, and wastewater was a problem. So they have oxidation ponds which have collapsed, right? So we did an assessment, we've given them solutions, and we've brought in partners to give those solutions. For Kodiaga, we are partnering with the Water Sector Trust Fund to give them a treatment system to sort out the wastewater issue. For prisons, we are partnering with the ministry, which is contributing over 60% of that project, Ministry of Interior, and we are also partnering with Kibos Sugar so that they can do away with their oxidation ponds and plug into our sewer trunk lines, and that waste will be treated at Nyalenda ponds because that's our business. We are ISO certified over the years. This is our new recertification certificate, which runs up to 2025. Yes, which runs up to 2025. So you know what being ISO certified means. It means that your processes are good, your processes are world class. So we received this certificate the other day. When budget allows, you pay your bills, we are going to organize a small celebration for that. Thank you. We also have an accredited calibration laboratory. Yeah. So we have the Kenas accreditation. That means that we are able to test and calibrate meters on behalf of other companies, not only water companies, but manufacturers. But these are cold water meters. And it's becoming a very good source of additional revenue for us because we don't do it for free. We charge. After all, we are accredited. Customer service, I've talked about it, and the rest. GWOPA membership, very key for us. Currently, we won a contract where we are providing to 5 other utilities, when it comes to pro-poor initiatives. GWOPA is Global Water Operator Partnerships. It's a program under the UN Habitat. And of course, I've talked about the ERP system. Challenges, we have talked about it. Climate change, we want to change, to bridge the investment gap in both water and sanitation, and we are playing a lead role in that. Non-revenue, we've talked about 31%. Out of the water that we produce, we are losing 31%, which is quite huge. Some of our networks are very old. Not actually some, but a big percentage of our networks were done in the early 90s. And we also still have some asbestos network. Yeah. But progressively, we are trying to eliminate that from our system. Vandalism of our infrastructure. Road contractors. There are some who work at night. They've been given a contract by the county. They don't have equipment. They have to hire. This equipment is busy, so it's only available at night. You wake up, they've ripped off your lines, and they are not there. That's one big problem that we have. Now, in the peri-urban areas, Tonglo, right? Tonglo, ukienda huko chini. During the dry season, when there's no water, yeah, kuna wale wanakata pipe, ndio ng'ombe ipate maji ya kunywa. That leads to a lot of wastage. So we need your support as stakeholders to arrest these people. Not really arrest them, but probably educate them. You know, arresting is also correctional, right? And then encroachment of catchment areas. This we are dealing with the county government with quite some good levels of success. I want to end there. There will be a plenary session where we will be able to take questions. In our midst, we have a team from Kiwasco, the heads of department. The questions that are too difficult, I'll push to them. So the heads of department, be ready to handle most of the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MD, for the good presentation. I want us to applaud him in a more organized way. So I'll call upon Abel to lead us in appreciating the managing director. Thank you so much. Our next presentation is going to be given to us by Lake Victoria South Waterworks Development Agency. So I will call upon the person taking us through the presentation. I don't know whether it is Omondi or Awiti. He will introduce himself so that we get to know what the national government has for us in this part of the county. Karibu.
Good afternoon once again. My name is Kenneth Awiti from Lake Victoria South Waterworks Development Agency. I'm here with my colleague, Engineer Macmillan Okuku. We are representing the CEO who has apologized. He could not be here today due to an assignment by the board of directors. We are supposed to launch a few projects, commission projects from today up to Friday, so he had to be away to pave way for the board of directors. So I'll dive straight into our presentation from Lake Victoria South. I'll start by giving a brief about the agency. Then I'll go down to a program that is relevant to this meeting that is only focused in Kisumu County. Then we will go to the successes and challenges that we are facing in that particular program. So Lake Victoria South Waterworks Development Agency has the mandate to serve 8 counties in the Lake region. We have Kisii, Nyamira, Kericho, Bomet, Migori, Homa Bay, Kisumu, and Siaya. Our core mandate is to develop water and sanitation infrastructure, and then, of course, at a later date, hand them over to the county government for operationalization. So those are the counties that we serve in the Lake region. Then we do that through the following functions. We undertake the development, maintenance, and management of national public waterworks within our area of jurisdiction and hand over the assets to the county governments for operationalization, as I said. We also step in whenever a utility cannot perform its functions. We step in so that the public does not suffer. We provide technical support and capacity building to the county governments, and we also provide support to our cabinet secretary. Now I'll go straight to LV Watson program because that is what is relevant to this. The brief I was giving covers the 7 other counties. So LV Watson is specific to Kisumu County. So the LV Watson program in full is Lake Victoria Water and Sanitation Program. Its aim is to rehabilitate water supply, water and sanitation networks within Kisumu City and the satellite towns. The satellite towns we are focusing on here include Kiboswa, Darajambili, and Maseno. Earlier on, there were plans to cover even Ahero, but due to funding limitations, we dropped Ahero, but it is in the long-term plan. So the LV Watson program is funded by AFD, EIB, the EU, and the government of Kenya. So it comes to a total of 70 million euros. So the following are the objectives: to increase water supply from the current 67 to at least 90 through last mile connectivity optimization, to improve sewerage coverage from 16 to at least 50%, to reduce non-revenue water from 45 to 25%, to improve access to safe water in low-income areas, currently at 78 to 90, and to prepare master plans for water resources and wastewater to guide future developments. This has actually been achieved, and the master plan was launched on the 15th of December last year at this very venue. So some of those figures there, Mr. MD, they could differ from what you have a little, but this is what we had at the inception of LV Watson program some 3 years ago. So that, I hope you understand. So due to the huge nature of the LV Watson program, we have divided it into 3 works packages. We have works package 1, works package 2, and works package 3. So works package 1, we have 31 kilometers of sewer networks. We are going to extend and rehabilitate. So this roughly from Mamboleo Slaughterhouse through to Gudka, Manyata, Lolwe, and it ends up at Nyalenda Ponds. Then we are going to construct and rehabilitate pumping stations. You realize we have a few sewer pumping stations in town, and we are going to construct one more near the interchange, near Nyamasaria. We have already acquired the land to build a pumping station that will boost the sewer coming all the way from Mamboleo and push it to Nyalenda Ponds. Then we are going to build 1,700. We are going to connect 1,700 people, households to sewer, and then 850 private connections by a subcontractor. And we are also going to procure for Kiwasco a jet flushing stroke vacuum truck. So that is works package 1. Works package 2 is also divided into 2. We have works package 2 lot 1, which covers Ukweli, Kiboswa, all the way to Maseno. So, and part of it is in Kisumu City. So in Kisumu City, under works package 2 lot 1, we will construct 118 kilometers of water networks. We will have a 250 cubic meter tank at Obolo, that's in Mamboleo, a 150 cubic water tank at Ukweli, that is at Bukna Primary School, that will supply that area. Then in Maseno, we will construct 25.7 kilometers of water network, and we'll have a 1,000 cubic meter tank at Nyawita. We will construct, we will sink 2 boreholes and rehabilitate Millennium Springs, that is in Maseno. In Kiboswa, we'll have 13 kilometers of water network, plus another 1,000 cubic meter tank at Ge. Ge is that area where we have those masts, those telecommunication masts. That is the area with the highest elevation in the area. So we'll have a 1,000 cubic water tank there. We will also rehabilitate Paracoraro and Kalai Springs in that area to boost the water supply. So works package 2 lot 2, this one we will mainly be focusing on the Dunga water intake and Dunga water treatment plants. So works package 2 will be domiciled in those 2 places only. So what we'll be focusing on is increasing pumping capacity and efficiency, and we'll also build staff houses. So when we talk of efficiency over there, Kiwasco has been complaining of pumping costs. Engineer Jura here, according to him, Kiwasco and pumping should not be in one sentence. They normally have problems with that. So we will try and put pumps that are quite efficient to help Engineer Jura. We will also dislodge Nyalenda Ponds under works package 2 lot 1. We will only dislodge the middle line. Then under works package 3, we plan to build a new wastewater treatment plant to drain Kisumu City's western corridor. So this is between Kisian Township and Kisumu International Airport. Both sides of the road will be served by this wastewater treatment plant. So we intend that it has a capacity of 8,000 cubic meters treatment capacity per day. We will also have around 105 kilometers, sorry for that mistake, 105 kilometers collection network that will lead to that wastewater treatment plant. But one issue we are having in that area is negative attitudes towards wastewater treatment plants. I don't know where people expect their waste to go. we've experienced community resistance in this project, and we have restarted stakeholder engagement, and we hope that we will implement this project. I'm happy to hear that MCA Odede is here. We will engage you in this. We would like this project to go on so that that area is covered. There was misconception that sewer will come from elsewhere to that place, but this wastewater treatment plant is meant to serve those people in that area between Kisian and the airport. Because if you look at the developments over there, we have the prison, we have hotels, we have apartments, we have filling stations, a wastewater treatment plant. Another standalone component of LV Watson is the non-revenue water management and water services in low-income areas. Under this, we want to acquire non-revenue water equipment. We've talked of non-revenue water under Kiwasco, and it's high. We want to build 20 subsidized pilot VIP latrines in low-income areas. We want to pilot 5 communal ablution blocks. We want to procure mini exhausters. And we also want to pilot sewerage holding stations. Other outputs under the LV Watson program, of course, is capacity building of our staff, Kiwasco, and county government, Kisumu. I think Mr. Morris, Engineer Jura, and Engineer Geoffrey can attest. We have participated with you in more than 2 capacity building activities. Now, to the challenges that we are facing under the LV Watson program. Now, I'll start with the successes. We have already launched Works Package 1. We have commenced Works Package 1. The contractor has already been mobilized and is on ground. So anytime soon, you will see us working. We have also developed the water resources and wastewater master plan that we launched last year. We have relaunched the water quality monitoring plan. You know, in the media in the recent past, we've had issues of water quality. So there's a meeting planned for tomorrow. I hope most of you are invited, if not all. Then we have completed capacity building component of LV Watson, as I've explained before. Going to the challenges. One major challenge delaying this project is the acquisition of land and where he lives. This is a major challenge. You see, LV Watson, there's a Tanzanian component, there's a Ugandan component, there's a Rwandan component, because the overarching goal is to reduce the pollution of Lake Victoria. But in all these components, despite starting at the same time, in fact, Kenya was ahead. In terms of implementation now, Kenya is dragging behind because of the slow process of acquiring land and where he lives. And you can see the example of the wastewater treatment plant that we are intending to build in Otonglo, community resistance. So there are also slow and bureaucratic processes in acquiring land and where lives, because people have encroached on places where we're supposed to be having our water infrastructure. For example, the Dunga water treatment plant, we are supposed to be expanding it to have a sludge treatment component. But there's some activity going on there that we don't understand, but I hope we will in the fullness of time. There's a construction going on there that really should not be there. The next challenge is a limited budget. It does not match the rising population growth that we have. Then we also have deteriorating water quality. And as I've mentioned, negative community attitudes towards wastewater treatment plants. So that is it for LV Watson in a nutshell. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lake Victoria. Can I call Sirengo leaders in appreciating Lake Victoria South I think you can come up with an innovative way of doing it. Thank you so much. I knew you'll not let us down. So our next presentation is going to be by the company secretary, Mr. Solomon Okeo. But before he starts, I want to tell us that we want to interact with you through what we call trivia questions. We have some goodies that we also want to give you, but we want to give you upon you getting some questions right. So this is going to be interactive, and I just want to ask the first question. The first person to get it right is going to get a gift hamper from one of our board members up here. So are we ready for the first question? What is the M-Pesa pay bill number? What is the M-Pesa pay bill number? Abel, pick on a random hand up there. $517,000, that's very right. Come up for your gift hamper. As I ask the second trivia question, what is the USSD code? What is the USSD code? Kiwasco staff, you are not allowed to participate in this. The hand next to Anthony. I hope you are not ready. Come for your gift hamper. Then the last one for this session, as the company secretary comes in, when is the deadline for the water bill payment? This hand came up first. Come again? 10th of April. Come for your gift hamper. Thank you. So we shall continue with the questions. Watch up, don't sleep. Just concentrate. Solomon, you can continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Simon, for that. I didn't participate in the questions and answers, but I hope I'll participate next time. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I preserved that greeting up to now. When I introduced myself, I didn't greet because I realized that's how we were greeting and nobody was responding. So I'm now very happy. I'm Solomon Okeo. I work with a company called Equity Secretaries and Registrars that acts as the company secretary for Kiwasco. Apart from that, I practice as an advocate in Nairobi with a firm called Umbati, Otieno, Opondo, and Aweno. It's a very long name, but Aweno is my name. Thank you very much. It's a very good day today. For the stakeholders, I looked at the choir and I realized that this must be a very good company. The choir just gave a very good song, and I remembered Lake Basin Authority in the 1990s. People were there at that time. Thank you very much, and let's appreciate ourselves for that. Thank you. I've been asked to do a presentation on overview governance at Kiwasco. The MD gave us a presentation on what has happened at the company, and Lake Victoria South has told us what they are doing. So what is this company? What is this company that's doing all this? So that's what we are going to look at this afternoon, to to understand Kiwasco, and I'm glad that the honorable members of the County Assembly are here because this is very important for us so that when we sit in the Assembly, we know the company that we are talking about. Thank you. So how did this company come about? Kiwasco as an organization was necessitated by the creation of the company, took place after water provision were transferred from the water department of the defunct Municipal Council of Kisumu in the year 2002. That's when we came with the Water Act. At that time, reformation came in and we had the Water Act. It transferred the water service provision by the municipal council then to the company. And the company was registered, just as you had seen what the MD presented, and the operation started. However, the Water Act 202 was amended, and we now have the Water Act 2016. So the Water Act 2016 just reformed what was there in the Act of 2002. Currently, the Water Act manages the Water Act 2016 manages the water service providers in the country. The water service provider in the country, as we shall see shortly, is regulated by the government through the WASREB. So after the company had been incorporated after the 202 Act, but you can see it was incorporated in 201, currently is being managed by the Water Act 2016. So Kiwasco started operations in that time. Now, it's a private limited company. I want us to mark that and underline as we shall be going ahead that this is a private limited company which is registered, and when you register a private limited company, just like most of you have know must be owning, there must be owners. Owners of a company are called shareholders. Owners of a company are called shareholders. So they own the company through what we call shares. So this company is held by the county government of Kisumu, and the shareholding changed. The shareholding changed from the municipal council to the county government. So as we speak today, the company is wholly owned by the county government of Kisumu. So, where does this company derive its mandate? How does it perform the functions that it performs that we just had? So the mandate of this company comes from the constitution of the country. We used to call it the Constitution 2010, the new, but now it's the Constitution, now used to it. So the company draws its mandate from the Constitution and the Water Act 2016 that I've just referred to. Now, in the Constitution 2010, which brought the devolution, assigned some functions to county government. One of them is water services provision, sanitation, catchment management, county public works. So water falls within that. So in the Constitution, you'll get the mandate that the company has. Secondly, we have got the Water Act that we keep on referring to, and we have the Water Services Regulatory Board, in short, WASREB. WASREB creates some service providers, in short, WSP. So whenever you hear water service provider, which Kiwasco is, means it has come from the WASREB regulation. Kiwasco has a mandate to provide water and sanitation services within the authority of the regulator who issue the license. Underline that, the license. So this license must be issued after some time, and there's a process that WASREB checks on to issue the license to the water provider, which is Kiwasco, wholly owned by the county government. So, what establishes the water service provider? So The Water Act 2016 that we just mentioned provides as I've just copied what they have provided, that one, a county government shall establish a water service provider. So Kisumu County government, for example, shall establish a water service provider, which they have established one called Kiwasco. In establishing that provider, the county government shall comply with the standards of commercial viability set out by the regulatory board. And that came out very well from the MD's presentation. It must be a commercial viable body. And when we saw the financials, we realized that this company is very viable. 3, a water service provider like Kiwasco is under this section may be a public limited company established under the Companies Act 2015 or other body providing water services as may be approved by the regulatory body. I want you to mark that because I say that this company is a private limited company. Now the WASREB says that you can be a public limited company, which is totally different from a private. But in the of the provider, they have allowed these companies to be private limited because there are several benefits that a private company has other than the public. So our company is a private limited company established under provision. Now, the Water Act provides that a company intending to be licensed to provide the services that Kiwasco provide shall submit to the regulatory board its memorandum and articles of association conform to the guidelines developed and approved by the regulatory board. What is that? What's the memorandum and articles of association? This is the constitution of any company. Before you reach a company, you must have that document. It establishes and it explains how the company will be run. So the regulator will always want to see that document. And that document that they want to see must conform to the provisions of the regulator. So the regulator, the regulatory board shall make regulations on the standard of water to be supplied by the water service provider under the section. So it means that when you are doing your articles, the standards that you put must conform to what the regulator does. That's when you'll get the license when you apply. What are the responsibilities of the water service provider like Kiwasco? The Act provides that the water service provider will provide water services within the area specified in the license. So if you have been licensed to provide in a particular area, you must conform by that. Then there's the development of county assets for water service provision. And that's what the last presenter just gave. They give out those the assets which the service provider will now use to provide the water. So a licensed water provider shall have such other powers and functions as conferred on it by this Act or any other Act. So the Act that we are talking about can give other mandates that the provider can do. What's the section that we are looking at here? Whatever is put there that can be seen, but what's very important for us is to look at the lower level, where we have got the water services providers. It comes at the lower level. Up there, we have got the Water Services Regulatory Board, that's WASREB. And below that, we have got the Water Works Development Agencies at the lower level. So Kiwasco falls under the lower level where they provide the services of water provision. That's the structure that we have that combines the national government, county government at the lower level. What's the relationship between the key players in the water sector within Kisumu. Now, when you read Kisumu Council, I want you to know, replace it with the county government. That's the structure that exists. So up there, we have got the Lake Victoria Services Water Board, the what? Then we have got the company, the Kiwasco, who provides the water provision. So you can see there's a link. There's a link between those three, whereby we have got the service provision agreement. Then we have the transfer of the assets that were initially owned by the municipal, and now they are being used by the company called Kiwasco. Constitution of the company. I've talked about, but basically, this is the document that regulates the day-to-day operations of the company. That document has been aligned WASREP corporate governance guidelines. So what does the guidelines by WASREP talk about? They talk about the shareholding, they talk about composition of the board, and eligibility criteria. Shareholding, we have just realized that this company is wholly owned by the county government in Kisumu. So what does WASREP want us to do? So that's the shareholding structure of the company. The first shareholder is the county government of Kisumu, having those number of shares. The second shareholder is having one share, and the office of the CEC Water. The third shareholder is having one share, is also the CEC for Finance, County Government of Kisumu. And the last shareholder is the the office of the county secretary, holding one share. The total shares of this company are 5,000. So if you look at those, the last three, we have said that all those shares that they are holding, one each, is in trust for the county government of Kisumu. They don't hold those shares as individuals or as offices. They are just holding those shares in. So all the are for the county government of Kisumu. Now, we say that the corporate governance requirements of WASREP talks about who composes the board of Kiwasco. Now, we have got 9 directors in Kiwasco. And who are these 9 directors? The city manager, city management board of Kisumu. So whoever holds that office will be a director in the company. The second person, CEC Water. Third person is CEC Finance. Fourth person is nominee of the office of the governor. The governor nominates an individual to represent him in the board. And interestingly, the governor in his wisdom nominated somebody who represents the manufacturers in Kisumu. So that person represents the office of the governor in the board, and he has got also a part of manufacturers in the board. The fifth is one member representing the business and manufacturing community. Well, that is still like the same as the whatever, but the nominee represents the governor in that board. The sixth person in the board is a member representing local professionals. The seventh is a member representing consumers. The eighth is a member representing the local and wholesale industry. Now, from number 5 to number 8, these people are chosen through an a process of open competition. They compete. The company advertises. These people apply. Committees formed. They are vetted. After which they are now appointed at an EM where the members sit. So those are competitive offices. The first 4 are holding those offices by virtue of being in those offices through appointment or through appointment by the governor or the body that appoints them. The last person that sits in the board is the managing director of the company, who also sits in the board by virtue of his office, and this recruitment is also competitive. So those are the 9 members that compose the board of Kiwasco. Lastly, did I lose? What I'm looking at is eligibility criteria. I can't see it there, but what's coming out is that what all these people that we've talked about, for you to be a director in the company, you must be, the eligibility criteria is a degree from a recognized university. That comes from the WASRED regulations. So we talked of a shareholder. Who are the shareholder? We have said that the shareholder is the county government Kisumu. What are the duties of this shareholder? One, the shareholder ensures that the stakeholder participation procedure is only ensure that this through stakeholder procedure, only competent and reliable persons who can add value to the company are elected or appointed to the. That's the role of the shareholder. The person who manages the company must be somebody who is competent and a person who is qualified. 2, the shareholders ensure that competent proxies are appointed for a general meeting. I want us to listen to that and understand that. Who are these? I know that after the stakeholders, there will be an annual general meeting. So annual general meeting is only attended by the shareholder. So the shareholder, who is the county government, cannot come to that meeting. So what do? They appoint people to represent them as proxies. So it's the duty of the shareholder to ensure that the people whom they send to the AGM are people who are competent. 3, the shareholder ensures that the board of directors is constantly held accountable and responsible for the efficient and effective governance of the company. So it's the duty of the shareholder to ensure that the people who are in the board are people who can run the company through competency. Lastly, they change the composition of the board that does not perform to their expectation. It means the shareholder has got that to change the people whom we have just talked about up there. 2 more. The shareholder ensures that the company conforms to the national in the water sector by maintaining a commercially viable water service provider through performance, so that they see that the company is run well. Lastly, the shareholder make policies and provide funds that sustain the growth of the water service provider in progressive relation of the rights to water. Hello? County Assembly is still in? I'm addressing the county assembly now. We must ensure that these people are funded. So if there is any bill that comes to the assembly, so that the company can get some, we ensure that we facilitate them. So after the duties, this shareholder must have some rights. What are the rights of the shareholder? Dividend. As any other company, the shareholder has invested. So in a right to dividends, but these dividends only be provided when the company makes profits after the books of accounts are audited and approved at the general meeting that we call annual general meeting. 2, shareholders have got a right to transfer their shares. Unfortunately, in our case, we may not have to transfer our shares because the shares are wholly owned by the government only. 3, the shareholders have a right to receive the annual and audited reports every year. And I'm sure these reports, once they are approved at the AGM, they are sent to the county assembly so that they can also interrogate the books. They participate and vote in annual general meetings or shareholder meetings, whereby if they have got any decision to be taken at the AGM, the shareholders must take a vote. They appoint their representatives to the boards according to the eligibility criteria that you have just looked at. Shareholders also plow money generated. They can plow money back the surplus can be generated as we noted, but then the shareholders can decide to say, no, we are not taking this money. We want to develop more infrastructure. We want to help OASREP to fund sewerage construction and everything. So they can back the money. Number 7, they can dismiss directors if they realize that they are not doing their work well. They participate in and sufficiently informed decisions concerning fundamental decisions such as 1, amendments of the statutes. The statutes I'm talking about are the articles. We can always amend our articles to conform to any requirements that are there. This must be only done by the holders at a meeting. Then if there are any other shares that they want to be increased, then they can also do the same. And also participate in any that involve sale or company status. They have got the right to be furnished with information concerning the date, location, and agenda of meetings. For example, the meeting that we are talking about that will be held, the shareholder must be notified in advance, and the requirement is the notice should be 21 days before that meeting so that they can prepare. And the agenda must also be sent to them so that they can know what will be discussed. They also ensure that the company complies with all statutory requirements. Because, this company belongs to the shareholder. If and when they allow the company not to comply with the laws, the people who will be responsible are the owners, which is the county government. So they must ensure that the company is operating legally. So, we have said we have shareholder, but we say today we have got stakeholders. So, what are the rights of a stakeholder? Because we have realized that we have a shareholder, but there are other stakeholders. For example, stakeholders are the employees of the company, the customers, you'll name them. Anybody who has got an interest in the company is a stakeholder. Now, the stakeholders have got a right to clean and safe water. They have got a right to public participation and engagement, like today. And they also want affordable water and sanitation services. That's their right. So as stakeholders, now that we have had all, do we have any duties? Yes. We were informed that we have to pay our bills in time, so that even if the water is disconnected, it means we are taking care of you. So you have a duty to pay your bills in a timely manner. You have a duty to report any leakages, the non-revenue water that we realize. Either this water is not paid for because of leakage or other means. So we have got a duty to ensure that we report such, and then we take care of the assets. These assets take a lot of money to be developed, just as you have had. So once they are developed, it's our responsibility as stakeholders to take care of them. Now, the county government and the company. We realize that this county government has got a role in this company because not only because of what came out, but also because of the Act of Parliament. Now, the County Government Act 2012 provides that the county government has got powers, functions, and responsibility to deliver services for the purposes, connected purposes. For example, the water service. So this is something that is in the 2020 County Government Act. Now, Section 174 of that Act, F, states that one of the objects of the devolution is to promote social and economic development and the provision of proximate, easily accessible services like water. So we realize that the county government has got a big role, and in the 4th schedule of the Constitution, we have got the distribution that we have just talked about, and one of them is water and sanitation. So we realize that the county government has got a big role to help the company grow and develop. And as just you said, county government has got also oversight role on the operations of the water service provider, that's Kiwasco. And that's why I say, once the audit accounts are done, they are brought to the county assembly so that we can interrogate and oversight on the activities of the company. Social responsibility. And I'm glad, I think the MD talked about the CSR that they do. So what are the social responsibilities and duty that the business as a stakeholder has in the company? The company will have the following responsibilities, just as listed for a shareholder, which is a stakeholder also. They want good returns on the investment that they have put. The employee has got a responsibility for fair pay and working conditions. The supplier, who is also a stakeholder, wants regular business because we want this company to continue every day, that we can continue doing business with this company. Customer, fair price and drinking water. The local community, and that's where the CSR comes, has got the socio-economic development needs which must be met by the company. Then the government. The government will always want us to pay our taxes promptly plus other statutory deductions. And lastly, environment. We have talked about environment. So we will want less pollution. That means there's everybody connected to the company as a stakeholder who has got a role to play in the company. Thank you very much. May God bless you.
Thank you, Solomon. Thank you for giving us insight on governance in the company. So we want to proceed to the plenary session where we are going to engage with your comments, questions, remarks, and any clarification that you may want from all the presentations that have been given right from the chairman's remarks. And with that, I'll request our board to come back up front. And as they are coming up front, I will also want to give the final opportunity to those of us who have joined us after the introductions had already been done, so that I give you this opportunity. We get to know who you are and probably whom you are representing in this particular meeting. So if there's anybody who had not introduced, just stand up, and this is your opportunity for us to get to know you. Please.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry for I had some duties behind. My name is Benson Adega, MCA, Kajulu Ward.
Thank you, Benson. You are very welcome. Emily, help move the mic.
I am Caroline Lawino Par, nominated MCA Kisumu County.
Karibu sana, Caroline.
Good afternoon. My name is Vincent Osika from Nyabondo Hospital. I'm representing the CEO. I'm the assistant.
Karibu sana, Vincent.
Good afternoon. I'm Dola Evans. I'm representing the community Kisumu North.
Good afternoon. My name is Ken Koyo, Director Environment Conservation. I'm here on behalf of Chief Officer Water.
Moses Odhiambo Chele, MCA East Kanawawidhi Ward in Nyando Sub-County.
Good afternoon. I'm Lumumba Wade, MCA Southeast Nyakash. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So we'll move directly to start the plenary, and we are taking the first round of questions, comments, remarks. You'll just give us your name and the person you are representing, and then give us your question or feedback. Let's keep it brief, and let us also try to repeat what has already been contributed in the spirit of saving on time. So we can go. Anybody with a comment, question, remark, just raise up your hand.
Thank you. My name is Agina Israel. I'm the chairman of Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank the management and staff of Kiwasco for the wonderful work they are doing. But my concern is about the Nyalenda ponds, because I think a year and a half ago, we realized that when there was backflow of water, the ponds could not drain into the lake after treatment. And that is an engineering issue looked at, because it then cannot serve the people it's supposed to serve. And on the issue of acquisition of land for within central ward of Kisumu, the treatment plants can also be constructed under hills and mountains. So those are options that could be considered, because I know that people in that area, I'm one of them, we don't want to be pushed out of Kisumu. We want to remain where we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Israel. The next.
Thank you so much. I have two concerns. I heard you representing about the sewer line house, and we have a problem in Leo Market itself. There's so many buildings there, story buildings, and they don't have toilets. The toilets there, when you dig it, you will reach only 4 feet. If you go far, it's 6 feet. And when it's raining, everything is coming up. Which plan do you have for Mamboleo area sewer line? Because I heard you talking about the slaughterhouse, and slaughterhouse is just outside the market, and the route of that sewer line is using the other side. 2, what do you have in place? One time I met an old mama with tap water, selling water, and he needs some assistance. We know we are in a digital world where we use phone, and this old mama cannot access the phone and raise her complaint. What do you have in place to put some customer care in those centers where they can reach the service of Kiwasco? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, I wish to introduce myself. My name is Jack Wasonga, representing the Regional Airport Manager, Kisumu, Madam Selina. Allow me to first comment. When I came in, the MC said that we have always been here with them. We have no choice, because Kiwasco is part and parcel of the airport operations. Thank you to the Managing Director for your message that is in this was it quarterly newsletter. It's refreshing, and I could give you a feedback on what you've said about your staff, the great work that the employees are doing. Well, I don't know many of them, but at least I know Lihanda, I know Luki, and today I know Amy. Yeah, I've always spoken on her on phone, but today I've seen the person. They're doing a great job. I think they are the reason we are succeeding. A few issues that I have. The wastewater management is not an issue. I know you are doing something about it. But I just wanted to suggest, I don't know what you would think, you are the experts, but there is a new technology of doing biodigesters. If probably you could enter a partnership with some stakeholders, I'm sure my employer would be interested to do biodigesters around and do pipe for that area to that biodigester, so that you build, operate, and maintain. I'm not sure that that will add value. Number 2, the county government is fully represented here. Is it possible for you to enter into a partnership with them so that we reduce pollution of our water system. I cross Auji like every other day, and I saw a lot of diapers thrown in it. And that water gets back into the lake, contaminating our water. If probably we could consider doing something about it, I think that could add value. Another issue that I wanted to point out, if probably we could go green with your power systems to help you cut on your costs. I know you use power. To consider solar systems and such. Another issue, I had our brother from Lake Victoria Water talking about a treatment plant for West Kisumu. Of course, I'm being selfish here because now it's touching on Kisumu Airport. I want to pray that it comes soon. Last but not least, thank you very much for a beautiful Kiwasco anthem that summarizes whatever you are doing. You are doing a great job. You didn't give us excuses of Ukraine war, neither did you mention COVID-19. May God bless Kiwasco.
Thank you. To repeat my name, Pete Oiko, MCA Kabonyo Kanyagwal. The issue of Nyanas and GAF, this is an issue that once came up in the assembly, and the picture that was there, Kiwasco was not clear, and the water department was also not clear on the management of the two water bodies, Nyanas and GAF. And I also get more confused when Nyanas is mentioned, and there is also Nyakach water project. Nyanas water, where is it really located? And what about Nyakach water project? As Kiwasco seeing that it is going to succeed in the management of Nyanas and GAF, or there is no success?
Thank you. We can take about 3 more. Then we'll take a break.
Thank you very much. I'm Vitalis Ajumbo from Gulf Water. In the previous presentations, we were told that there was going to be a new line that was to supply the areas of Kisian from all the way from Otonglo up to Maseno. In today's presentation, we are being told there's a new line now that is supposed to run from Kiboswa, Dajambili, then Maseno. What could have brought these changes? Thank you.
The last 2, let's take 2 more, then we'll allow the presenters to react.
Thank you. Also have a few concerns. I appreciate the fact that Kisumu County.
Give us your name.
Evans Dollar. Appreciate the fact that there was the formation of Kiwasco as a company to provide water to residents of Kisumu County. However, we have realized that we have a company 100% shareholder the county government, which is also holding resources. But down in the communities, people are suffering because of lack of water. A good example is where I come from, within the Nyahera region. We have serious water rationing. The communities are connected to the water line, but do not get that constantly, while the community expects that the service should be well provided. So what could be happening? Number 2, the county government started some water projects. several projects took money, then later went down. A very good example is one called Seke Obede Water Project. Seke Obede Water Project consumed a lot of county government money, but it has turned into a white elephant. People around there are suffering because of lack of water while the project is lying there. What is Kiwasco doing to harness that project so that the people can enjoy the services and the provision of water within that area? Number 3, what is the relationship between Kiwasco and Gulf? Sometimes down in the communities, people are not able to differentiate between Gulf and Kiwasco. So we are asking if there can be community meetings that can send people to know how these organizations operate, then we can be glad. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Evans. The last question, probably on that row, then I come to the far end. Let's exhaust that row. Emily, there is a hand here.
Gender.
Let's exhaust.
Thank you. I think agenda has to be considered in this case. Thank you. I'm called Honorable Emily Oginga, specially elected member of Kisumu County Assembly. I don't know whether this should come in as a question or a statement of concern, because you find usually there are pipes, pipes usually burst along the road. And when Kiwasco comes to do the repairs, when they come with the backhoe especially, you find that they end up actually causing more damage on the infrastructures already put in place. But the repairs or follow-up on the repairs actually is not done. So that is actually my statement of concern on the repairs. Thank you.
Thank you. Allow me to give the presenters opportunity to first of all respond to the already presented questions.
Thank you very much for those questions, and of course the comments. I'll start with Mr. Agina's questions about the Nyalenda ponds. I think the Nyalenda ponds we don't have an engineering problem. The problem with the Nyalenda ponds is that it needs to be dislodged currently. There is a lot of silt, and if you looked at the presentation by the Waterworks Development Agency, the silting of the ponds is coming, I think, in works package 2. Now the problem that used to be there is that when it rains, then there's an overflow into the ponds. But that has since been sorted out. We dug a very big trench on the side of, I think it's called Kameta area. So we no longer have the challenge of overflow into the ponds. And if you've been there also recently, you'll find that we have a lot of development in terms of fencing, so that we don't have people encroaching. On the issue of acquisition, I think Lake Victoria will answer on where we can have a treatment plant below the hills. So probably those are technologies that we need to probably look at. I mean, those are the alternatives. Mr. Adega, The sewer line, Mambo Leo area, I think that's what this new treatment plant is going to sort, right? So it's going to serve Mamboleo and Riat area. So we are not going to rely on the line from Slaughterhouse going to. So you came a bit late, Mheshimiwa. If you're there, then you would have followed a very comprehensive plan for Siwa for. You said the western side of Kisumu, right? It's a new treatment plant, but you don't want to move Agina out of his home in terms of land acquisition. Yeah. Now, customer care centers outside, okay, decentralizing customer care centers. Mheshimiwa, that has already been decentralized. If you have an account, then there's a meter reader who visits you every month, probably once or twice. So that's our first contact person. Those are our front soldiers, and they get a lot of feedback for us. It will be very expensive, and we are trying to use technology to manage costs so that we can invest more in water service provision. So, good point. We are going to sensitize our staff so that if they encounter such cases, then those are people that they should directly go and ask for feedback. What are the issues that you have? And then we are able to sort out that. So let's continue embracing technology. And where there are challenges, we have field staff who will still be going to read meters and to get feedback from customers. Jack Wasonga, thank you. I'll pass those very good words to the staff you mentioned. I think Lihanda is not here. Luke is also not here. Now, on the issue of biodigester, also good idea, and we are already doing some pilot at Nyalenda Ponds with the Systema Bio. They're very good in digesters, of course, through one of our partners called Opero. So that will inform our decision going forward, right? Because that also has an element of biogas, but we still have to do a lot of studies. I'll give you an example of Uganda, who have a very good fecal treatment plant with an element of biogas, but they are not able to produce biogas despite that investment. Reason why? Because the quality of our shit today, it's interesting. The quality of what we eat today, that waste cannot produce sufficient biogas. So they invested in a very big treatment plant. And Atika was there. I saw Atika here. Atika was there 1 or 2 weeks ago. He can tell you the story. So yeah, but we are piloting the biodigester with Systema Bio. Systema Bio. So once we satisfied, then we'll talk to you. I know the challenge you have. Now pollution. Again, very good point. Why can't we partner with county government to sort out pollution? We're already doing that, but this problem is beyond the county government. And if you listen to the presentation from Lake Victoria South, there's a forum tomorrow that has national government, county government, Water Resources Authority, NEMA, ourselves. So that is already happening. That partnership is already happening, and some of us here have been invited. Solar systems. We've had more than 10 people coming to present to us about solar systems. We take them around, but when it comes to implementation, they disappear. So recently, we've decided to do things differently. We were looking at private-public partnership, the build, operate, transfer you're talking about. Too complicated again. So what we've decided, and this is work in progress, we are going for outright purchase of solar. So the person who is able to do it will come, take them round, do a quotation. What we've realized is that there are people who have gone into solar business, but they're not serious. You know, our pumps are huge. Yeah, so it's not a joke. So somebody probably looks at, where am I going to put the panels? But the good thing is with technology, the amount of space you need to put solar panels is reducing. It's reducing because of technology. So we are really considering that, and in our next financial year, we are going to have that in our budget, and we are going to go solar. KPLC will be a backup. Yeah, I'm sorry if they're here, but I mean that's the way to go. The wastewater treatment plant is going to come. That is money that is already there through the LV Watson. So your issues will be sorted. But I also want to thank the Airports Authority for working with us closely and also being proactive. Right? You've really improved. Now you bought some pumps and you're able to discharge the waste in a good way. Kabonyo Kanyagwar, Mr. Awiko, right? Clarity of the two water bodies. Now, Kabonyo Kanyagwar is in Nyakach, right? It's in Kano. Oh, it's in Kano. Okay. Kadibo, yeah. Now, Nyanas Water Company has several schemes. One of the schemes under Nyanas is Nyakach Water Supply. Okay? The other one is Mhoroni. The other one is Korum Nara. The other one is Hero Bohol. And there's also a borehole at Awasi. So all these schemes fall under a company that used to be called Nyanas. Nyanas was Nyakach Nandi Water Supply. That is how it was registered. Okay? So when you hear Nyakach Nyanas, that's the relationship. I hope that is now clear. Now, whether there is success or not, it's you to judge. But I gave a history. Kiwasco is providing management services to these two utilities. Okay? And Mr. Gina was the chairman then. We had a 2-year plan to revive these utilities. Yeah? There's what Kiwasco was to put in, there's what the county government was to put in. For that plan to succeed. So that plan did not succeed because one of the parties did not put in what was required and signed for. Okay? But Kiwasco has not given up, and we are continuing to support the two utilities. We've hired consultants. We've had discussions. Some of the honorable members have been part of those discussions, and we are going to get a way forward. It's something that as Kiwasco we are not going to relent. We are going to ensure the success for the rural water service provision. Waheshimiwas, Nyakach only exists on paper. Okay? The company Nyakach and Nyanas should have been wounded up long time ago. Nyakach Nandi, does that still exist? It doesn't. Yeah? So we are working with the county to wind up those things that exist on paper and have a way forward. So Kiwasco is providing management support. And I'm also answering the question from the gentleman from Gulf, right? So that is the difference, right? These two utilities, by the time we are taking them over in 2014, they were moribund. They were not functioning. We've been able to bring Gulf to a level that I can say they can even stand on themselves. But the subsidy for payment of electricity must still be there. Okay? Nyanas generates a monthly billing of 1.4. Okay? The expenses for Nyanas is monthly is 3.5 million. Right? Electricity, two-stage pumping, at the intake, 700 million. At the treatment works, 1 million monthly. Okay? So that is the status of that utility. Okay? When I bring you to Gulf, not much different. But Gulf, you know, under Gulf, I can also give you the schemes under Gulf. We have the Kisumu Rural scheme. We have the Nyaheram Kendwa scheme. We have the Kapuonja Maseno Kombewa scheme. And then we have a borehole in Kombewa. We have a borehole in Holo. Right? So when you hear Maseno Kombewa, the treatment plant is in Kapuonja. This plant was to serve all the way up to Kombewa. And there were pipelines. But these pipelines were washed during El Nino. Okay? Some of you who wanasoma to El Nino, they were not born then. Okay? So that supply was cut off. The lines were not rehabilitated. Okay? The main problem affecting Gulf is Kisumu Rural, because it's also purely pumping. It has a capacity of 2,000 cubic meters, production capacity of 2,000 cubic meters per day. So what Kiwasco is doing is providing management support. We have staff whom we are paying from Kiwasco coffers, seconded to those utilities, right? We provide chemicals and, of course, operations and maintenance. That is why you are able to receive water, maybe not every day, but it is rationed. The other issue with these utilities, if there's no budgetary allocation for the utilities, the population is growing, right? So the source is dwindling because of climate change. In Nyahera, we depend on Orinde springs and other small springs. The yield of those springs has continued to reduce over the years because munakata miti na mpandi miti ingine. So the problem is also us. So when you want to talk about success of these utilities, let's also look at ourselves. Are we conserving environment? Are we supporting the staff who are working so hard to bring these utilities to a level that they can be self-sustaining? But as I've said, a lot of work has happened in the last 2 years in terms of engaging the regulator on what is the best model for water service provision for peri-urban and rural areas of Kisumu County. We engaged a consultant who worked on the Water Act 2002, the Water Act 2016, to come and look at this. He's done this for other counties. So we are not going to reinvent the wheel, but we are going to provide a solution. And this is going to come to you, honorable members. So let's do justice when this comes to you. So, Mheshimiwa, I hope I've clarified that. Gulf Water serving the Kisian area. There's a plan to extend the land that passes through Otonglo up to Kisian, but we've talked about the adequacy of the source. Now there is another plan that is going to get water from up the hill that is going to bring this to serve Kisian area. Like Victoria didn't talk about it, right? And probably you will mention about that project. There are very big reservoir tanks being constructed next to the former Prime Minister's home. He's the one who donated the land. The works are at an advanced stage, so that is going to be a solution. So you can have a perceived solution today, but tomorrow, when things change on the ground, you're also forced to change. So that is why we had a change on that line. Rationing, I've talked about it. Seke water project. I want to refer you back to the chairman's speech, and I want to read that verbatim. As I come to an end, I want to urge the honorable members of the County Assembly present to assist the company in two major areas, even as we continue serving our people. First is to ensure that pipeline extensions and projects are well coordinated with the company, so that each and every pipe laid adds value to the constituents. As without proper coordination, we may have one duplicated project that may not help achieve its intended purpose. I think I've answered that question. Lack of coordination leads to white elephant. Okay? The county government is here. We are here. Honorable Washimiwa, you are here. You are the ones who approve this plan. So ensure it is a plan, it is viable. I've seen pipes laid, and then after the pipes are laid, they come to me. We want to connect. I send them to chief. There are so many, so it's not only second, right? So what we are calling for is just proper coordination, and we won't have such. Pipe burst, Mheshimiwa, Madam Oginga. I think the chief engineer is here. You have listened. Don't cause more damage. Ukikata barabara, return it to the same state. Don't give us a bad name. Itakuwa makosa. So finally, Seke Water Project, kindly just come and see me. Then I understand the details. And Owino is also here. So when you see me, I'll pull him aside so that we discuss it. And if there are any other projects that have been done and we can revive them, as Kiwasco, we are willing to offer our expertise to ensure that they are working and serving the people.
We are taking another round of questions from the back. We're not exhausted. I hope this should be the last in the spirit of time.
Oh, thank you. Honorable member, please order. Thank you. My name is Honorable James Ocheng-Omolo. I come from West Nyakach. One, maybe the lawyer will help me. We have a private company, Kiwasco, which is totally owned by the county government. It's a public entity. So what is the advantage of having a private limited company vis-a-vis having public limited company as Kiwasco? I think we need to get that so that we know the advantages either side. Two, I know the problem we have in Nyanas, I think Nyakach water. It has been ever mambo ya stima. I think the county has pumped a lot of money in terms of going green, having the solars to pump that water. We are somewhere and we are not yet where it should be in terms of Kenya Power. Can we get a brief of what should be done differently so that we have it on off-grid, so that, and I think you mentioned about the cost is too high in terms of Kenya Power bills. It is too high, and our people in Nyakach are not getting enough water because of the bills on and off it goes. Lastly, Bwana MD, for some of us who are in the rural setup, we cannot match the billing at the setup of the urban, like Nyalenda, wherever. Could we be having, I know you get your rates from the National Assembly in terms of Act. It is passed every year for you to bill. As a county, can we domesticate so that the setups not within the town, like now Nyakach, Seme, wherever, Moroni, somewhere, so that we can have our own rates, either flat rate or just a normal rate which can now be considerably be friendly to those people living in the rural setup? Because those mamas, when you come with those kind of bills, which is being done in the town, they will not really be able to sustain those lines. So utapata wanakatwa maji for a long time, they will not have maji, and they will go back to what they used to be during that time when the Kiwasco was not there. So that is my question. Thank you.
The next, let's make it a single pressing question.
Thank you so much. I have a single concern. And before I proceed, may I take this opportunity to commend Kiwasco for the good work you've been doing over the years. And in front of me, I'm seeing a very beautiful glass. How I wish a present of this kind can be donated to some of us. When we were going through CPROP and county revenue streams, we realized that the Department of Water, and Kiwasco included, realized zero revenue. So our main concern, and my concern in this plenary, is, does Kiwasco at the end of the financial year sustain any surplus? And if it does, how does this surplus end up into county revenue account? Finally, I'm hearing a lot of Nyanas, Nyakach, and Gulf, and Nandi. Does Nyando exist in the map of Kiwasco? All Nyando people have got their own entitlement in terms of water, in terms of refresh safe. Can we also refresh safe? Thank you.
Thank you so much. So allow me give our need to respond to those. We shall not be closing this session. There is still a session coming up when we'll still be interacting in the tea room, so we can still continue to seek to get more answers from all the Kiwasco staff and even board members who are present. So allow me give time for response to these questions. Public versus private.
Thank you, MD, for that. Mheshimiwa, thank you for that question. When I was making the presentation, I indicated that WASREB regulations wants the service providers like Kiwasco to be public limited companies. What are the advantages of a public limited company? One, shares in a public limited company can be transferred or can be owned by people who are not members. That's the simplest advantage. A private limited company like yours, if you have one, I know most of you have got companies, or I'm lying, because most of you have always texted me that, can you file returns for? That's by the way. So a private limited company is owned by the owners only. What do I mean? It is like a family-controlled business. Most family-controlled businesses are public limited companies. Why? Sorry, private limited. Why? Because you want to control the company as an entity. But a public company, you can transfer these shares to other people. So why do most of these water companies formed by the county governments, private limited companies? Because the county government does not want to invite other entities to come and own the company. So that's the reason, because they want to own these companies privately as only the shareholders. Because if we allow that they are public companies, then Kenya Power may one time want to own part of the company. Then the county government will not be comfortable with other people coming to own its company. Thank you. I hope that explains that.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Wakili. Tied to the same question was the issue of solar for Nyakach. As I said, the solar plan we have will also touch on those schemes that rely heavily on pumping. Of course, funding is a big issue, but we have models like the build, operate, transfer, which you've seen work in other areas. This is where you enter into an agreement with somebody, comes, fixes the solar, and then sell you power at subsidized rates. Now, the billing for rural areas is actually heavily subsidized, and it is different from the billing in the city. Now, we cannot go back to flat rate because flat rate is prone to abuse. Flat rate is not does not conform to the principle of equity, because if I give you a pipeline without a meter and I charge you a flat rate of 500 shillings per month, you are doing irrigation, umepanda mboga, ng'ombe, umedig shallow well, hiyo maji inaingia hapo inajaa, ng'ombe inakunywa, na jirani yako hana maji. Is it really fair? So treated water should be for domestic consumption, home consumption, and not for other things. But the tariff for rural and the tariff for urban are different. So we want to sort out the governance issues for the rural utilities and then apply for a tariff. Ladies and gentlemen, water is free. What you pay for is the chemicals we use. Now, for us to pipe it up to your house, we operate on a cost recovery tariff. Yes, we do make surpluses. Our surplus that we make is not money in the bank. We do not get any money from the county government, nor from the national government. Kiwasco, we generate our own revenue. Every year, we budget on what to do, and then we go out and look for that money. And therefore, the surplus is in books. We had budgeted to use 80 million, right? We've collected 70 million, and that is what we've used. That saving is what we enter in our books as a surplus. So it's not money in the bank. Therefore, the county government cannot expect to make any revenue from Kiwasco. Really, we need their support. Wanafaa kutupatia pesa. Now the problem, honorable members of the county assembly, when devolution started, the budget for water was 400 million. All right? So when you have 400 million, all the wards including Nyando, there'll be an impact. Now, the last budget that we approved, that we are working with now, is 70 million. How do you expect an impact, Nyando? Now we may approve 70 million for the whole county. 70 million is not even one major project. So the problem, we need to do a bit of soul searching. And we'll be having a session with the water committee so that you should not feel left behind. There are areas where there's no water supply at all. When will they have water supply if our budget has been reducing from 400 million to 700 million. Makueni, when we started, it was 600 million. Saizi ni over 1 billion. Nakuru, we started the same, 400 million. Theirs has been increasing. There's no MCA who is complaining na hii nyando yetu tutaona lini. There has to be an impact with enough budgetary allocation. It is the duty of the county government to provide water to the people. They can only provide water if you follow and implement what you discuss in public participation. When you go to public participation, water is priority. Ikikuja kuapprove a budget, water inakatwa to 70 million. Okay? So asanteni sana. I think we've discussed so much. We have a sheet we've given you for comments. If there's anything burning, you can still write it down. I really want to appreciate this forum, Chair. This is a forum that has been patient and very, very interactive. I think all those who walked in, I've not seen walking out and walking in. I mean, this is awesome. And this shows that as Kisumu County, we continue adding value to our processes and the discussion. We are having positive discussions going forward. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We are almost coming to the end of this session. So before I invite the CEC, Water, Natural Resources and Climate Change, to come and make some remarks, I want to give some 3 trivia questions so that somebody who is lucky can go home with something. So the first question is, Kiwasco has a call center. So I just want the number. What is the call center number for Kiwasco? If you know it, raise up your hand. Hakuna kutumia mwa Kenya. I'm seeing many people are Googling. Staff are not allowed to participate. Yes. The guy in short-sleeved blue. Yes. Zero. Not quite right. There was a second hand somewhere up here. Yes, let me go by those who came first. Thank you so much. He's gotten it right. Okay, come for your gift. The next question: how much is the penalty for disconnection? Penalty, I want to be gender sensitive. 1,000, come for your gift. Then the next question. What is the short code for reporting complaints? Short code for reporting complaints, Brother Dan Amolo. 4022. That's very right. Come for your gift. The next question: how much does it cost for a domestic water connection? The cost of a domestic water connection. When you apply for a domestic water connection, how much do you pay? The guy in black. Thank you so much. Come for your gift. The next question. What will it cost you for a trip of exhauster services within the town area? Kiwasco offers exhauster services How much does it cost? Lake Victoria. 3,000 shillings. Thank you. Come for your gift. The second last one. The second last one. There are only two for you to consider yourself lucky. Which year did Kiwasco change its name to a sanitation company? Yes, the first hand. 2018, almost. 20? Thank you so much. Come for your gift. The very last, I hope our customer care team, you have enough gift hampers. Name any responsibility that you have as a customer of Kiwasco. Thank you so much. Come for your gift. And I hope you are going to actualize it. I hope you are going to actualize it. So that brings us to the end of that section. So I want to give our board member, Director Phyllis. I want to give Director Phyllis this opportunity to give us some remarks.
Yeah, before we are almost coming to the end, I won't talk again. Now, there's a registration desk outside there. If you have not registered, it is in your interest to register and put your correct telephone number. Okay? Register and put your transaction telephone number. Let me not say correct. Okay? So kindly ensure you register. Thank you. Director.
Thank you very much. I'm sure from your programs, we are at, it's now 5:20. We should have received the remarks from the CEC Water, Environment and Natural Resources at about 4:40. So I won't take a lot of time. I'll just speak on her behalf, though I know I've seen the Department of Water represented here. But I want to imagine what she will tell us today. First and foremost, I want to thank our honorable members in the House for, that process that when CECs are appointed, before they take over, they have to go before another House. So I want to thank the members that are present here who made it possible for us to get a new CEC. Her name is Marilyn Agwa. I would imagine she would tell us that she takes this opportunity to appreciate everyone who has attended today's Stakeholder Forum, which is an important function or event where the stakeholders together take stock of everything that has happened in the year. I know she would have reminded us that her docket primarily is in charge of water, environment, natural resources, and climate change. So all these four issues are equally important. Both the issues of water, issues surrounding environment, natural resources, and of course climate change. The chairman in his speech, I think he spoke a lot about climate change. You know very well that climate change is an issue in every sitting right now. In every part of the world right now, everybody is talking about climate change. And I've also heard, I think, from our West. The West is also going through some changes. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take care of our environment. Let's plant trees. The chairman has challenged us today with 100,000 trees. I'm just thinking, I don't know where you're going to plant 100,000 trees, because I know majority of us may not have space to do 100,000 trees for obvious reasons. Maybe Nyando. along the rivers. The chairman emeritus said yeye hataki kuhamishwa Kisumu. So I don't know. Thank you. Let's all plant trees. As we do that, we are going to take care of our environment. We are going to see how to support this climate change so that it does not beat us harshly. We are going to maintain our resources because rightfully the MD said water is free. But where do we get water? It comes from the rain. What calls the rains is the vegetation. If we ensure our environment is clean, let's take care of the rivers. The way he said, I think it's River Uji that has a lot of pampas in it. Let's take care of our waste and dispose well. Ladies and gentlemen, if we take care of our environment, we are not just taking care for ourselves, but for our future generations. As far as water is concerned, let's use resources prudently. I've heard people talk about bills. The MD said water is not free. Ideally, the only thing you pay for is the chemical that we put in that water, the power that we use to pump the water either from the lake down here, plus I think emoluments for the staff that come to your homes every other month to check on your bills, the people sitting in their offices, the people receiving those calls, the customer care. Ideally, the money you pay goes into that and not the water. So save water in your homes. As you brush your teeth, I know people are used to opening the tap, brush the teeth as they keep water running. That alone is a waste. So see how you can conserve water. You can imagine in a house, if you're like 10 people, brushing water at the same time, leaving water running. How much? You can go test and see how much goes into waste. So my call today, on behalf of the CEC, is to ask all of you to be our eyes, report any leakages, bursts, and any issues of thefts of meters or water, because it is our company collectively. As we sit here today as stakeholders, the success of Kiwasco is the success of all of us. Finally, I want to thank management for the good work done so far. And the office of the CEC is committed to support the company in whichever way within her ability to attain the goals of Kiwasco. God bless Kiwasco. God bless Kisumu. Thank you.
Once again, I'm there. We have all gone through the MD's presentation today, and we saw the challenges that were highlighted, especially the climate change, vandalism. We saw also the presentation from L.V. Watson regarding projects that are coming for the benefit of the community and the resistance that we get from the community. We also, one thing I think nobody mentioned here, this time on the WASREB impact report, we were placed at number 2 in the country. I think we that's a great achievement. And that's for a corporate governance. In the area of corporate governance, we were placed at number 2. Every problem is a gift. Without problems, we wouldn't grow. Challenges have been highlighted. We all must think about the way forward. What are we looking at as a community, as the stakeholders, the honorable members? This is our city, this is our town, this is the place where most of us were born, brought up, studied here, and we want to actually end our lives in this place. So the generations that have gone, our forefathers planted trees, we are actually benefiting from the fruits of those trees that were planted. There's a story that an old man of about 95 years was planting a mango tree, and then the kids around them, the young people, they started laughing. Why are you planting tree at this age? You'll never see you'll never see the fruits of this tree. He said, listen, I've enjoyed the fruits that were planted by others. So let us plant now so that our children and our grandchildren are able to see the fruits. So our roles as an individual, wherever you see a leakage, please report. Wherever you see somebody stealing water meters, I think we are now replacing them with the plastic, the plastic meters. But still, even the plastic manhole covers are being stolen. I don't know where they use them. So wherever we see something like this, I think it's important that we report. All the time I have to call the technical head that, listen, yesterday I saw this cover and today it's disappeared. Please have it replaced. But how many do we replace, or how many times in a month do we replace? So this is something that we must, all of us, take responsibility. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. And the tragedy of life is not death, but what we let die inside us while we live. So with that, I would like to say thank you so much, honorable members, stakeholders, for participating in this stakeholder forum. Thank you so much. Asante sana.
Thank you. I think we've come to the end of today's stakeholder forum. The other official engagements we are going to have, the other session we are going to have as we interact while having our tea. Tea is going to be served at the main restaurant hall. We have these feedback forms. We request that you give them back to us with your comments on your way out, or you can present them to Emily. Emily, these will take some time. I think let's just pick them. Let them just drop them on the way out. So I want to ask one of us to close for us with a word of prayer, preferably a lady volunteer to give us the closing prayer as we also pray for the tea. Let us be upstanding for the closing prayer.
Okay, we are praying. Heavenly Father, we want to thank you. We want to thank you that this far you have brought us. We want to thank you for Kiwasco, that they are able to cushion us from diseases by giving us clean water. We ask for your power, we ask for your grace over them. Even those who are represented here, we are calling upon your presence over them. May you walk us out safely, for I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Asanteni, you are always welcome. Let's continue the engagement as we take a cup of tea at the main hall.